Hey guys, welcome back to another series on natural hair growth tips by Ventapitars. Today we're going to be talking about hair porosity. If you're just coming across my videos for the first time, then you might want to check our previous videos where we talked about low hair porosity and how to determine your hair porosity. Today is all about high hair porosity. I can admit that porosity is a very complicated thing to understand, which is why I am taking it in bits and explaining it more in details so you can understand it better and know your hair porosity, because it is very important for hair growth. And most of us are still not sure where we stand even after taking the test from the previous videos. You don't know if you're high or low in porosity, or you are medium in porosity. But I really want you to know your porosity because it plays a major role in your hair growth journey. So let's get right into the video. Porosity is way more than just being high, medium, or low porosity. In this range of low, medium, and high, there are also other things in between, but there is a big difference from the low range to the high range. So when your hair fits most of the characteristics I'm about to list out, then it is safe to assume that you are high porosity. Any hair can be high porosity hair. It doesn't matter what your density, your texture, or your coil pattern is. But one characteristic is that your hair tends to be thinner due to the fact that it doesn't have as much cuticle layers like the low porosity hair. Cuticles are the outermost layer of your hair that shields the inner part of your hair from damages and also determines how fast your hair gets dry and how fast it gets wet. For high porosity hair, because you have thinner cuticle layers and they are sparsely open and your cuticle layers are lifted, your strands tend to be rough. So if you are carrying out the strand test, you would notice that your strands tends to be rough, and because your cuticle layers are rough, they tend to get tangled easily, and this can be worst for especially those with kinky hairs. So that is one of the things you should be looking at: the tangles, if your strands are not smooth, and how fast your hair gets dried. Another thing you should watch out for high porosity hair is the fact that your hair is very fragile and can break off easily. So applying much tension can lead to breaking off of high porosity hair. So when you are braiding or twisting your hair, it is very important for those with high porosity to not go too tight, and also treat the hair carefully because of how fragile it is. It is also possible for those with low porosity to become high in porosity due to extended use of chemical treatment and harsh products on the hair, as well as too much heat like your blow dryer, your flat iron, your coiling iron. All of those heat, it can lead to damaging your cuticles and thereby making them sparse and slightly lifted, leading to high porosity. Here is some advantages and disadvantages of high hair porosity. One of the advantages is that it is easier to stretch, so twist out and braid out are easier to achieve, and it is also easier for product to penetrate into your hair strand. Most times when you are doing your protein treatment and all of those heavy treatments, you do not need to use indirect heat on your hair all the time because it is easier for those products to penetrate into your hair strands. But it also has its disadvantages, and one of its disadvantages is that it dries out quickly. So if you notice that your hair doesn't retain moisture as much, then you probably have high porosity. And it also tangles a lot easier and easily breaks off. So if you notice that you are having lots of tangle in your hair, even after detangling, your hair easily gets tangled, then it is safe to assume that you have high porosity, as well as it's breaking off from the ends often. Because the ends are fragile, it tends to break off a lot. So if you notice that your hair is breaking off from the ends a lot, then you probably have high porosity. Now that we've talked about the characteristics, the advantages and the disadvantages, we will be going over how to manage high porosity. Like I said in my previous video for low porosity doesn't need protein treatment as much as someone with high porosity hair. So if you have high porosity hair, you might want to be doing a protein treatment on a regular basis, and you might want to use protein based products. But mind you, when using protein based products, you also have to balance your moisture based product so as not to get protein overload as well as moisture overload. But for high porosity, you should know that you should do more of protein treatment than moisture treatment. And also the pH of the product you use is very important. Products with alkaline pH will further lift your lifted cuticles, making your hair more damaged or more fragile. So you should watch out for such products. And apple cider vinegar rinse after your washes or after your regular treatment is advisable. Another thing that will help your high porosity hair more manageable is sealing in moisture. And using light oils to seal in moisture is not advisable for high porosity hair because your hair loses moisture quickly. It's advisable to seal in moisture with heavy oils, or I would advise you to use butters like your shea butter, your mango butter, your cocoa butter. It's advisable to use those. Currently we're getting into the dry season, so you want to make sure your hair is properly hydrated, moisturized, and those moisture is properly sealed in. So in my next video, after we're done with porosity, I'm going to be talking about LCO method and LOC method. So I'm going to be giving a video about that in details, and also how to care for your hair during the dry season, or if you're not in the country, it will be the winter. So thank you guys for watching.